Greetings and salutations, Vidoma here again for another installment of my video blog, or vlog as we like to call it. I'm going to be departing a little bit this week from a lot of the trans issues that I've been largely talking about, and I'm going to be switching gears a little bit to talk about a topic that has a lot of stigma associated with it, which is mental illness, and particularly a stigmatized mental illness called BPD, or borderline personality disorder. My partner, my wife, Atypical Aeshe, here on YouTube, has been diagnosed with this particular disorder. And what I'm interested in talking about a little bit more, because she's definitely got a lot of videos on what it's like to live with and struggle with that disorder. But what I want to really focus on is what it is like to be a partner or a family member for someone who has a disorder like that, and what you can do to both take care of yourself and also continue to support that other person and have them in your life as well. Now, with BPD, what really I think has been most challenging for me is the emotional dysregulation that my wife seems to experience from day to day. Her emotions can abruptly shift. I mean, one minute she can be very much calm and centered and feeling in and of herself, and very much know she is, and the next moment, something that I will not expect has triggered her or set her off, and she'll become either incredibly depressed or very angry at something that just occurred. And initially, that was incredibly difficult for me to deal with when she started re-experiencing these symptoms again after having a lot of them a bit dormant for a few years. And for me, I think the anger was the most difficult to deal with because I'm not someone who's dealt with anger very well. When anger is expressed in my environment, I had traditionally always felt it was about me or directed at me, but no. I just had to continue to remind myself it's anger at her situation or what is occurring or what she's perceiving, and it has nothing to do with me or really what is genuinely going on. It's all about what's going on in her head in reaction to the situation. When this first started experiencing itself, I took a lot of responsibility for her emotional state, which I think was very unhealthy and very negative for me, because as adults and in an adult relationship, we're responsible for our own emotions, and we're responsible for 50% of what goes on in any given relationship. And I was, because of this disorder, taking on too much responsibility for her emotional state in any given day, and that was driving me crazy because it was instilling in me a sense of a need to be perfect, and that if I just tried harder and I just modulated my moods more and didn't set her off, then everything would be okay. One of the things that I learned is that sometimes, regardless of your best intentions, someone is going to be triggered. You never know what is going to cause them to be. So you can't walk on eggshells around someone and control your emotional responses so tightly that you can't be yourself. With that said, what has really worked for me is in taking a step back and realizing her emotional responses are not about me, that they're just occurring. It allows me to have a sense of calm and centeredness in the situation that I wouldn't otherwise have. I have found that when I get more emotionally distraught, it has a tendency to make her more emotionally distraught as well. So to short-circuit the situation where she's emotionally dysregulated, the best thing I can do is act calm, but not dismissive. Take the person's concerns seriously, and sometimes I'll say things like, I understand that the way you're feeling right now is incredibly difficult for you, and that sucks, and I'm here for you and I still love you. So you're acknowledging the way they're feeling, but you're not blaming yourself for it and not taking it on yourself. It's something that they have to deal with, unfortunately. And as a problem solver, that's been very difficult for me. I want to fix things. I want to caretake. I want to make things better. And in a situation where I can't fix things and I can't make it all better for her, make it go away. That's something I've really, really been struggling with. But over a period of months, I've been trying to let loose that sort of mentality and just accept that the best thing I can do is take care of myself so I can be present for her and also get my own needs met. One thing that I've been doing to this end is I've been reading a lot of books about BPD. I've been researching the subject a lot more. Ash has been sharing materials with me. There's also a very good website that I could recommend people go to. I'm just going to bring it up on my computer so I can take a look. It's called the National Education Alliance for Borderline Personality Disorder, and the website address is borderlinepersonalitydisorder.com. One excellent thing that they have on there is a program called Family Connections, and in this Family Connections program, you can sign up for a nominal fee, about $50, which you can donate to their website. And there are people who are trained as family or peer helpers, people who have been in the same place that you have as a family member, supporting someone who has BPD. And these people will take you through a 12-week course. Depending on where you're located, it could be on the phone or it could be at an in-person site. Mine personally was on the phone, though. And you have about an hour-and-a-half call for a period of 12 weeks, and week by week, you cover different materials. For example, the first week, we kind of introduced ourselves and described our situations with what family member and what was going on. And then in the subsequent second and third weeks that I've done so far, they have discussed a variety of things. I think the second week was more about what are the criterion and symptoms for borderline personality disorder, and also in the third week, what you can start doing a little bit more to start addressing it. We're going to be learning a lot more practical ways to take care of yourself and also deal with or support your loved one. But there were a couple really fascinating points that they covered that I'm just going to share really briefly. To be an effective supporter of yourself and your loved one with BPD, there's a couple points. First of all, people need to interpret things in the most benign way possible. So in other words, the person who's emotionally dysregulated, who may be yelling, who may be lashing out, they're not mad at you. They're angry at themselves. They're angry at the situation. They may be taking it out on you, but it's not their intention. So looking at through a lens of they're having a difficult time, they're attacking you is not really about you at all. Secondly, that there's no one or any absolute truth. If someone, your loved one, is feeling very much a sense of abandonment or worried that you're going to leave them because of a particular action you might have taken, like you might have not called them when you were going to be home late from work, and they perceive that in the worst way possible. The truth is that they really did feel those feelings, but your truth also is that you just forgot, that you weren't abandoning them, and try and have those truths sort of coexist with one another. Thirdly, and this is really important, is that everyone is doing the best that they can in this moment. There are times when I am not handling an outburst, being as completely calm as possible. Sometimes I get angry too. If I'm having an emotionally trying day or I'm exhausted, I may not be as well equipped emotionally to deal with an outburst, and I need to not beat myself up about that and just realize that I'm doing the best and they're doing the best trying to regulate themselves or deal with their emotions. And the fourth point is that everyone needs to try harder. Now, this doesn't come from a place of saying you're not good enough or you're not doing enough or being enough, but more from a place that there's always something different you can do, another way that you can look at the situation, another way you can try to make things better. And so trying to live with those 4 areas so far has really, really helped me a lot. Additionally, right now, I'm trying to engage in a lot of self-care. So if I'm feeling very stressed at what might be going on emotionally with Ash, I can do self-care things. I can distract for a little bit. I can watch an episode of Glee or some movie that I would enjoy. I love horror movies, and she hates them, so I'll enjoy one of my horror movies, or take a hot bath, or have a nice cup of tea or coffee, or meditate to clear my mind and bring my energy very centered into my body and feeling a lot more aligned and holistic. So there's definitely a lot of things you can do. So those are some initial thoughts about what I've been struggling with and what I'm starting to do to deal with my loved one, my darling, who has BPD, and thinking about the best way that I can support her and still be true to myself as well. I'm love to have other people's feedback or any other information on what they'd like to hear in future videos about supporting someone with borderline personality disorder. But at this point, I would just like to leave that for the evening, and this is Vidoma signing off. Thank you so much, and you take care now. Bye-bye.